For those who are not in the Hollywood world, what is wrong with her taking over the film?
I've never seen it before in my 30-plus year career in Hollywood. And an executive producer is below a producer in the film world. An executive producer signed up to be an executive producer, and that's it. As the time progressed in this film, she decided that she wanted to be a producer. She started to make edits. She wanted to be part of the editing.
Blake Lively's legal troubles have escalated into a full-blown spectacle. Normally poised, she's reportedly livid with her lawyers after a series of costly blunders. What started as a simple case has morphed into a chaotic media storm, with sources alleging key filings were botched and crucial defenses missed. Meanwhile, Belden's team is doubling down, piling on more pressure. With tensions surging, Lively's frustration is becoming increasingly evident, both inside the courtroom and in the headlines.
This footage, which appears in the finished version film It Ends With Us, only in this brief slow-motion montage, appears to show the two stars discussing how to play the scene as they slow dance. Baldoni's team says the 3 takes of this scene, reportedly shot in May 2023, show that what took place on set doesn't match claims of sexual harassment that Lively made in a legal complaint last month. According to the complaint, while filming a slow dance scene, Baldoni was, quote, caressing Miss Lively with his mouth in a way that had nothing to do with their roles. In the raw footage released by the director's attorney, the two stars can be heard talking about production details while playing to the camera as a couple in love. The complaint says Baldoni, quote, dragged his lips from her ear and down to her neck as he said, "It smells so good." Baldoni's representatives say that the tape proves it didn't happen.
I'm probably getting spray tan on you. Well, it's not bad. It's my body makeup.
Lively's legal team firing back in a statement, quote, Justin Baldoni and his lawyer may hope that this latest stunt will get ahead of the damaging evidence against him, but the video itself is damning. Lively's representatives say that the footage corroborates her account of what happened, arguing that it shows Baldoni, quote, attempting to kiss her, kissing her forehead, rubbing his face and mouth against her neck, flicking her lip with his thumb, caressing her, telling her how good she smells, and talking with her out of character, adding that no woman should have to take defensive measures to avoid being touched by their employer without their consent.
What began as a straightforward legal matter has escalated into a dramatic courtroom showdown marked by accusations, counterclaims, and costly mistakes. Blake Lively's legal team, rather than reinforcing her case, has drawn criticism for a series of missteps that have complicated the proceedings. Now, instead of focusing on her legal fight with Justin Baldon, Lively must also manage the fallout as her attorneys face mounting scrutiny. The courtroom has transformed into a high-stakes battleground where reputations are at risk, alliances are shifting, and the search for justice is becoming increasingly overshadowed by the spectacle.
The drama between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni has now escalated into a full-blown legal battle, with both stars suing each other over a tangled web of claims that revolve around their collaboration on the 2024 film It Ends With Us. Lively, known for her roles in Gossip Girl and A Simple Favor, claims that Baldoni, the film's director, tried to destroy her career through a smear campaign after she brought forth allegations of sexual harassment and a hostile work environment against him. On the flip side, Baldoni says Lively went too far by exerting control over the production, threatening to withhold promotion unless her demands were met. He also argues that she falsely portrayed their professional relationship to the public, tarnishing his reputation. And while Lively is suing Baldoni for sexual harassment, retaliation, and false slight invasion of privacy, among other claims, Baldoni is countering with a defamation and civil extortion lawsuit, claiming that Lively not only made false allegations against him, but weaponized them to force him into complying with her demands.
The legal dispute between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni has evolved into a highly publicized courtroom battle, marked by bold allegations and heated rebuttals. However, instead of remaining focused on the case, much of the attention has shifted to Lively's legal team, whose repeated missteps have drawn widespread scrutiny. Their errors have transformed an already contentious case into a media frenzy, leaving many to wonder how much more unpredictable this legal fight will become.
Moments ago, the judge overseeing their federal case in New York, Judge Lyman, ruled on the former B-list actress's request for an additional layer of protection. The unliftable Blake was not happy with the standard protective order in the case. She wanted an attorney's eyes only designation. And the judge has granted that. Congrats to Taylor Swift. Of the judge's ruling, a spokesperson for Delulu says, quote, "Today, the court rejected the Wayfarer party's objections and entered the protections needed to ensure the free flow of discovery material without any risk of witness intimidation or harm to any individual's security. With this order in place, Ms. Lively will move forward in the discovery process to obtain even more of the evidence that will prove her claims in court."
Blake Lively's allegations of misconduct on the set of It Ends With Us have escalated into a legal battle with significant consequences. Lively claimed the production was unsafe, while Justin Baldoni countered with a $400 million defamation lawsuit, arguing the controversy was a deliberate smear campaign by Lively and Ryan Reynolds. What started as a workplace dispute has now evolved into a major Hollywood legal war, with careers, reputations, and financial stakes reaching new heights.
Blake Lively is accusing Justin Baldoni of sexual harassment, followed by an attempted PR takedown of her to cover his own ass from people finding out what he did to her. In an article titled "We Can Bury Anyone," Blake Lively heroically shared her story, and the world was on her side because it looked like she was just trying to take down a predator in Hollywood. So Justin Baldoni and his ace lawyer launched an all-cylinder fire attack to clear his name, and he started by suing the New York Times, saying that article was just published because it was paid for by Ryan Reynolds, and it was a multi-layered scheme planned out by Blake and Ryan to take down Justin. And I think it's pretty common knowledge that the mainstream media will lie on behalf of their powerful friends or anyone who pays them off to say certain things. But this will be tough because the New York Times has never lost a lawsuit in their life, but doesn't just release some very piping hot information that seemingly proves that Blake and Ryan Reynolds were colluding with the New York Times for months.
Blake Lively's legal team faced an unexpected setback in their attempt to protect her private messages with A-list friends. They secured a court order to seal certain documents, believing it would keep the conversations from public view. However, the judge later clarified that any evidence presented in trial could still be made public. Now, the very material they aim to shield may become part of the headlines, turning what seemed like a smart legal strategy into another unfolding challenge.
And release every single text messages between the two of them. We want the truth to be out there. We want the documents to be out there. We want people to make their determination based on receipts.
Justin Baldoni is firing back after Blake Lively filed a lawsuit against the actor, accusing him of unprofessional and sexually inappropriate behavior on the set of It Ends With Us. She also accused him of coordinating a smear campaign.
Was there a coordinated smear campaign to bring down Blake Lively?
100% no.
Baldoni is now suing the New York Times after the paper published a story about Lively's allegations.
Do you plan to sue Blake Lively?
Absolutely.
You will?
Yes.
Baldoni claims that the text messages in Lively's lawsuit were taken out of context or excluded. The New York Times said in a statement that they stand by their reporting and plan to vigorously defend against the lawsuit. Lively said previously that she hopes her suit helps pull back the curtain on these sinister retaliatory tactics to harm people who speak up about misconduct.
The legal battle took another dramatic turn when Justin Baldoni's attorney Brian Friedman accused Blake Lively's longtime publicist Leslie Sloan of leading a deliberate smear campaign. Friedman alleged that Sloan wasn't simply managing Lively's image, but was actively working to damage Baldoni's career. In response, Sloan's lawyer dismissed the claims as unfounded and a diversion from the real issues. By this point, the case had evolved beyond legal arguments into a larger battle over media control, where shaping the public narrative had become just as critical as presenting evidence.
There was actually no allegation of sexual harassment until the lawsuit.
It was a sinister PR move. Blake Lively then moved 11 days later to file a lawsuit. So now she has filed a lawsuit. And I don't think she ever wanted to do this. I think she genuinely wanted this to be a PR move and she wanted to leak it to the New York Times. She thought the public would take her side with no questions asked. And instead, the public is saying, no, we have a few questions here. And Justin Baldoni is going all the way to the wall on this. His lawyer is already giving interviews explaining just how nasty her team has played this. The lawyer's name is Brian Friedman. He stopped by the Megyn Kelly show. And here's some of the things that he had to say. First, he says, there used to never be a sexual claim. There never was a sexual claim until she went to that civil rights office. Take a listen.
The legal battle intensified as Friedman released behind-the-scenes footage and hinted at a website backing Baldoni's claims. He argued the evidence completely debunked Lively's allegations about a toxic set. In response, Lively's attorneys accused Friedman of manipulating the narrative and running a smear campaign. They swiftly filed for an emergency hearing, stating his media tactics could sway the jury and impact Lively's right to a fair trial. At this point, the case has evolved beyond legal arguments. It's now a broader fight for control of public perception.